Out of seeing the level of controversy and concerns that people have over Delta Force and the kernel level anti-cheat that it uses, I decided to look into their terms of service, Activision's terms of service, as well as EA's terms of service to see what all that they may be collecting from you, what rights that you have when you're playing the game, and anything else that may be interesting. Just in the sake of saving you time right off the bat, I'm going to tell you that there's nothing that isn't in the other terms of service in Delta Forces that would lead me to worry about the game. The major concern that a lot of people have is that if the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, decided that they wanted to get information from any company within their jurisdiction, they would have the right to access that data. But who's to say that they're not buying data from a lot of these American companies as well, and they're not willingly giving your data up to people for the sake of money? Looking at all three different terms of service, Delta Force, Activision's, and EA's, they all have an arbitration clause, meaning that you can't take them to court in a class action lawsuit. You're going to have to settle it out of court in basically a mediation in order to get whatever you need. You can't just call Saul. Another big factor in all three of the terms and conditions that I read is that you essentially are paying for a license for the game, whether that's you buying skins within Delta Force, buying skins within Warzone. If Delta Force got shut down tomorrow, they're not required to give you a refund or anything. Same thing with Warzone. Maybe with Call of Duty Black Ops 6, maybe they're required to keep the servers on until the next game comes out or a certain time. I don't know if they've even pledged to guarantee servicing the game for X amount of seasons or whatever, but you're just paying for a license to play the game. You don't own the game or anything within it. And if you violate any of their terms of service, you can have your rank reset, you can have your account permanently banned, and these are all well within their rights to do. Another massive one that I really saw more so in the Activision and the EA side, I don't even think it was in the Delta Force, is user-generated content, UGC. Anything that you create within the game, that could even be talking on the voice chat, typing in the text chat. If you come up with an idea that's not copywritten or trademarked, they could take that to make money off of it, whether that's you make a new calling card design or you make a custom emblem and they turn around and sell it as a t-shirt, or they turn around and sell that calling card in the in-game store. They don't have to tell you about it, give you any money, anything with anything that you used their game to create. This even covers the fact that when you're in voice chat in the game, even if it's a private party with just your friends or just your party, there's a transcript being laid down. So not only is your voice being recorded, which they probably store for a certain amount of time and then dump after a certain amount of time, because that probably takes up a lot more storage compared to just keeping text transcripts. And then they turn around and they sell those text transcripts to companies like Amazon. They actually have a list of all of the different companies that they sell your cookies to. If you were unaware, every single mobile device, every single computer has its own advertisement ID that's used to store cookies and then turn around and send them to various different companies. Activision's giving cookies to Amazon Redshift, AppsFlyer, Braze, Facebook, Google Firebase, HelpShift, and IronSource Supersonic. So there's all these data brokers that are getting your information. Amazon themselves are getting your information. So if you're talking about, oh, I want to buy some new blah, blah, blah in the text chat or in the in-game chat within Call of Duty, that's sending cookies to these companies to push you advertisements. This works in the same way that if you're looking on Google for specific things and then you start seeing those specific things on the side of web pages as pop-ups, that's because your advertisement ID has been used to signify that you're into these type of things. Let's push these type of advertisements. This is target marketing. I personally don't have a massive problem with it in the sake of privacy and certain things. The way that I see it is, it's like they're making money off of me and I'm not getting any royalties from that shit. I'm not getting paid at all from this data. And on a large scale, they're making billions of dollars a year. It feels slimy to know that a company's making money off me and other people off the basic things that you scroll past and just say, I accept, without fully knowing what you're accepting. Of course, you're not signing the eyes of your child away or some shit like that. But at the same time, it's good to know what you are signing off on. The terms and service of something like Facebook, TikTok, Instagram are probably way more nefarious, as you're constantly posting pictures of yourself, maybe pictures of something that you drew, pictures of whatever, typing various things that maybe you came up with out of your own creativity. And those things can actually be turned around to use for profit, and you're not entitled to a single cent of it. So be careful what you post on there. Those are the sites really where you're going to be sacrificing more privacy than anything compared to like a video game, because those, they see your network of friend groups. They see so much more into your personal life. So if you're worried about your personal information and you have these social media sites and you're constantly posting your location and all these other things, I would be more concerned of that compared to playing a video game. On something like Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, you may be signing off on your likeness in perpetuity, which means they can use images of you forever for the sake of profit, even for maybe feeding into AI models to make realistic looking humans, and they're using you as the fucking template. My biggest issue though, honestly, is something like this new voice chat moderation on Call of Duty and Warzone. You're not allowed to talk shit. It's like the moral police, essentially. And on top of that, they're selling your transcripts to Amazon to see what products that you're talking about within your conversations, to see which political shit that you may be talking about. They probably have a list of keywords that if you say, that's getting forwarded to the feds. All of those things are actually covered within their terms of service, their privacy policy, their cookie policy, and conveniently, they're all on separate pages as well in terms of Activision. And all of those are things that they can do within their rights that you've given them. I think in terms of Delta Force, a lot of people are worried about the Chinese government accessing that information. For all we know, your strategies and tactics and the way that you take on gunfights could be training some freaking AI model to have like some advanced freaking robot warfighter in the future that's going to take and aggregate data from everybody who's in the top whatever % of the game and make some freaking robot that's just going to be like freaking Terminator out there. In all actuality, most likely majority of the data that they are collecting is just for marketing purposes to sell to third-party advertisers and stuff. The same way that the Americans do. Everybody just wants that bread. Even though Delta Force isn't made by a company within the United States, it's still beholden to consumer protection laws. I think anybody working with any type of sensitive data or at a company that requires a high level of operational security is going to be working on a company computer, whether that's a company computer within the office, a company laptop, whatever the case may be. They're probably not going to be doing their work on their gaming PC. All of that said, I would say if you play Warzone or Call of Duty, I'd be careful about using the in-game voice chat to like share your new song idea with your friend or play the beat over the speakers or anything like that. I wouldn't discuss like your new idea for making an app that might wind up on a transcript somewhere in front of Amazon that they turn around and monetize. Obviously, these are extreme cases, but I think that something like this may become more common in the future, especially as AI is becoming more in use by these games to make different artwork, to make different things. Eventually, the AI is going to be using your aggregate data in order to help formulate whatever it makes. A good example of the AI improving over the past 10 years or so would be just getting copyright striked on YouTube for having somebody's song in your video. It could be even people within the music industry. I've noticed sampling has become less common because now AI algorithms pick up on the samples of other people's music that you have in your song. So you can't really just rip part of somebody's song, use it, make a fire beat out of it, and profit off of it without getting that permission. I remember at a certain point, Kendrick Lamar actually got sued for a lot of his earlier music that was using a lot of samples that weren't cleared. This was picked up on literally because of AI. Another good example is also the Jay-Z Big Pimpin' instrumental created by Timbaland. They got sued because the Indian creators of the original song that was sampled found out about it because of AI. I think the guy wound up losing in court because the song was made by the guy who was suing's uncle, and he didn't actually have rights over the thing. But at the end of the day, AI is really changing a lot of things in our society, and it's going to continue to improve. It's still very flawed, as you can see when it puts like 6 fingers on hands or makes really jacked up looking teeth on images or whatever the case may be, really weird looking eyes that look like buttholes. But either way, let me know what you think about AI. Let me know what you think about these terms and conditions. Are you going to actually read through all of them yourself? Or are you just going to continue scrolling and hitting accept? Hope you guys have a good one. Take it easy.